So now we're going to have a look at bonding atoms together. Last time we looked inside an atom. We found our protons, electrons and neutrons. Our protons and neutrons are in the centre of our atom in the nucleus, with the electrons going round the outside in shells. We found we could use our periodic table to tell us more about our atoms. But what happens when we bond them together? So atoms are really small, so to make something bigger, they have to be joined together. And different atoms can be bonded in different ways. We can actually find out how they might bond, again by looking at our periodic table. So different elements in the periodic table bond differently. So not everything is made up of one element or atom. Some things are made up of two or more atoms. So we group our atoms into metals and not metals. All of the bonding is to do with the attraction between a positive and a negative charge, and it behaves a little bit like the north and south poles of a magnet. So our protons have our positive charge and our electrons have our negative charge, so the bonding is always between protons and electrons. In metals, our atoms sometimes lose electrons, so they form ions. The electrons surround our metal ions, and then the positive charge of the ions attracts all of the electrons, and this creates our metal bond. In non-metals, all our non-metals always want more electrons, but they can't give them up, so they share them. So non-metals share electrons with other non-metals, and then the positive charge of the protons in the nucleus is attracted to all of those shared electrons in the middle, and that is how they bond together. Metals and non-metals can also join together, but this time we get ions. So atoms gain or lose electrons. Our metals will lose electrons, so they'll have fewer electrons than protons and a positive charge. Our non-metals gain electrons, so they have more electrons than protons and have a negative charge. This means we have positive metal ions and negative non-metal ions. Our metal ions will be attracted to non-metal ions, and our non-metal ions will be attracted to our metal ions. So they'll join together and bond in this lattice structure. I hope you've enjoyed the video on how different atoms bond together. Watch out for the next video on elements and isotopes.